In this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. We'll actually more expand on situated theory in a way that I haven't discussed yet in either of my books, but which I've alluded to. And it's through primarily these situated perceptions, situated motivations, situated actions, emotions, situated feelings, situated behaviors, situated cognition, and the situated self, that we can get these different modalities and different forms of expression, self-expression, and embodiment with various mind-body-environment constituents, as well as mind-body-environment constituencies that allow us to express things like creativity or problem solving or analytical reasoning and particularly innovative behavior uh, is what I want to talk about in this video. And also how it relates to things like resourcefulness in particularly. So when we're situated to a surrounding environment, and let's say that we have a particular aim or direction that we want to head in mind, we want to do something, and we see an object in our environment. So there's a component constituent in the environment. So maybe that we're feeling a little bit creative when we're on a beach per se, and then we just like see a stick over there, and we're just kind of staring at it, and maybe you have a situated emotion here, right? And what happens is when you're perceiving that stick, your motivational networks kind of go off, and you start to feel uh, an emotion, and that emotion of interest, and you start exploring this stick. It's kind of there. Then you see a bag kind of flying around, and you make a connection. And you have feelings associated with that. It could be, it could be also that feeling of interest, but it could be a concurrent feeling of pleasantness, just feeling good. And then you're, you're not necessarily bored, but you're not really doing anything. So you decide, okay, you know what the heck, I'm going to put these things together. And you maybe you stick in the ground, and you tie the flag, and it's a little bit of a windy day. And what you get is a flag. And this is a low resolution level of innovation, but it still performs a variety of functions because it does what a flag does. It can tell you, for example, the direction in which the wind's blowing, how windy it is. If it wasn't windy, it wouldn't. The bag probably wouldn't be moving up and down. It would probably remain still, likely remain still, especially if there's no wind at all. It'd be still, right? Unless somebody's going by it and generating like a gust or energy that's going to push that bag and cause it to move. Um, so, but there's some degree of resourcefulness. There's resources in the environment and within ourselves that we're accessing that are all situated to each other, and we're repurposing the bag that was once garbage, and the stick, and we're kind of creating like an art project, but it has some pragmatic function. There's some degree of utility to that, and then maybe after it's done, you do your due diligence, and you take the bag and you toss it out or you recycle it instead of just leaving it there on the beach. And that itself can be can have like, maybe there's a situated ethic to that. But ultimately what's going on here is perceptions, emotions, feelings, actions, behaviors, and cognitions that are all situated to each other are developing these different modalities, and are important to influencing these different modalities, such as like innovation, creativity, some degree of problem solving, especially if you're more like, that's a piece of trash at first. Let's say like moments before you kind of take notice of the bag, and there's like, why don't people just clean up after themselves? Like, why do we have to just why is there so much litter in the environment? Like, can we make better use of this? And then you go out and you make use of that bag, and then you end up, well, I touched the bag already, so it's not that big of a deal anymore. I can just kind of go recycle it or toss it out. And then that's also situated to civility, to ethics, to even your own personal sense of morality too, right? So these are all situated, and they're all part of the self and operate within situated theory. and they can cultivate a greater sense of positive well-being, and that feeds back into positive psychological sustainability that goes back into this notion of developing a positive wellness infrastructure for the self that's ultimately psychologically sustainable. And that's all I wanted to say for this video.